In this lesson number 4 on Learning Ableton Live, I want to show you how we can move beyond just working with beats and start to now work with harmonies. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a keyboard sound, load it into a track. I'm playing it from my keyboard. Okay, so for this I'm going to steal from Adele, Someone Like You, and steal her opening chord progression, which is just an A major chord followed by a C sharp minor chord, followed by an F sharp minor chord, followed by a D major chord. So I'm going to turn on my metronome, make sure I have a 2-bar count in. I'll bring the metronome down a little bit. And I'm ready to go. I've record enabled the track, and now I can start recording. Okay, so the next step I'll want to do is, maybe I'll bring this back up to a faster tempo, 128, and check out my recording. Okay, that's fine. I'll turn off my metronome now. So I'm going to go in here and edit this a little bit to fine-tune things. So I'm going to, clicking in the track, Command A to select all the notes, Control click, and quantize settings, and I'm going to set everything to every quarter note and start 100%. Hit OK. So now every note begins the same. Now what I want to do is I actually want to, first thing I want to do is, all of this is set correctly. My loop is set to, looks like it's 8 measures long. That's great. But I've got a little space, a little gap between each of these notes. And so what I'm going to want to do now is I could manually click on these and try to drag them over. Or there's another thing, so there's some features over here that are really, really nice in Ableton Live that under this sort of notes tab, this clip view. If you don't see this, I have to click down here and click on this thing that looks like notes. And now I can edit these notes a little bit. So I can play at double tempo. So what I can do is if I just click on this button, it actually now makes the tempo twice as fast. And let me clarify, it didn't change the metronome, it just sped up my progression. So it just made it twice as fast in terms of duration. And if I do this one, it plays it at a half tempo. And so now it's back to my original tempo. Okay, great. So I can also reverse it. So I can flip it completely. So let me do twice as fast. And now reverse. That's pretty cool. Let me go back and reverse it again. Now, if I decide I only want to reverse, let's say, these notes, I'm going to click on those and now reverse those, and it only affected them. So if you want to select everything, Command A, it will reverse them. Or if I'm just in the clip, now this button will affect everything in the entire clip. Reverse, reverse. I can also invert. So what that means is, watch what happens. So the chords get inverted. And it doesn't mean chord inversion in the traditional sense. I mean, if I look at this chord, it's A, C sharp, and E. And now if I invert it, I have G sharp, B, and D sharp. So what's actually happening is it's sort of flipping the chord on an axis, right? So it's quite different from actual chordal inversion. So that's something to keep in mind. If you've studied some music theory, this is a different kind of inversion, right? So if I look over here under the info view, it says flips the selection upside down so that the highest note is swapped with the lowest note. I have to say I don't use that too often. There's the LEGATO feature, which what this does, click on this, is now it attaches every note to everything else. So now I have no gaps between the chords. All right, very nice. And then finally, I can duplicate the region by hitting this button. And now it just made it twice as long. So that's really nice. And that's what I can also do is make the clip longer if I go up into my actual track. And if I click and drag, so bring my cursor towards the end, I get this little trim tool and I can click and drag it. Now that's interesting. What's happening is it's actually making my clip actually longer. So I'll undo that. Let me click out of here. Now click the clip and no. So if I want to, what I could do is make the clip longer if I select loop. So I'm going to turn on looping for this clip. And now you can see my loop points here, here, and here. If I don't have looping selected, then it just extends the clip length, right? So now my clip is a lot longer. This is my loop point, but I don't have looping enabled, so there are no sounds happening in here. So if I want to have sounds in here that are looped, I can just hit loop, and now all of those notes appear there. Okay, so what we can also do now is add some other tracks that go along with this chord progression. So let me add another sound to this. Maybe a pad that goes along with it, some longer notes. Okay, and so now I'm going to add another layer that goes along with this. I'm going to bring my tempo down a little bit so I can play a little bit more accurately. Hit record. Record enabled this track. Okay, so there are my notes. So I'm going to hit record. There. So now I've added another layer to this. I can bring my tempo back up. And I might want to go in here and clean this up a little bit and move some notes around. So I could do this with quantization. Maybe I'll start with that. Command A, hit quantize settings. I'm going to go to quarter notes for now, hit OK, and now I'm going to move some things around, some of these end notes here a little bit, and that looks good. Cool. All right, so let's see what that sounds like. And if I don't like a note, I can move it. Oops, that doesn't work. Okay, much better. So, and now we can just keep adding layers, one on top of another, by just, I've had this basic harmonic progression and then finding other lines that go along with that progression. So, hope you'll find that helpful.